Hi, boys and girls, welcome back to the Math Center. I've been awake for a little bit, I know, but we've been continuously putting up our videos online. I think they're more math-based, but okay, I shall resume. Previously, I put up a question from my students about IGCSE Accounting because as winter 2021 exam is coming soon for IG. They've been asking me questions. So there was one earlier on, which was a good question. Do check it out. In this video, I continue with some of the questions for, this is an example of a question that I'm doing for them. I thought doing a video would be easier, all right? So do follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Give us a like. For the earlier videos that I have, you have to go to our fan page or go to our YouTube channel and look through. We've got lots of videos that we put up. Now I like this particular question because it really tests you on the idea of control accounts, all right? This is a question that tests you on control accounts, and it tests you on your understanding of the purpose of a control account. What does it do? So let's take a look. If I'm not mistaken, this is a recent past year exam question. I think it's the year 2020, all right? So don't put a gun to my head, but I think it's in the year 2020. You can check it out. Okay, let's take a look at the question. At the end of a financial year, let me see. Okay, put this. Okay, okay. At the end of a financial year, the debit balance on a sales ledger control account was 26,800. At the same date, the sales ledger balances totaled 30,000. He discovered the following. Now, people, I don't have so much time here in a short video to talk about a whole lecture on a control account, but I just like to give you a very quick summary. All right, wait just a minute. Okay, let me get my annotation out. Yep, here it goes. Right, okay, let's go. So basically, a control account, where's my annotation? Just a minute. Just a minute. Sorry. Yep. Okay, I'll use the space here. A trader's sales ledger control account is also known as a trade receivables control account. All right, the words are synonymous. You can call this a trade receivables control account or a sales ledger control account. Okay, now this control account is where you extract figures from various parts of your accounting records, and they usually are in total. For example, total sales, total payments received from trade receivables, bad debts written off, etc. All those are figures which you will put into your trade receivables control account. Now, very important, this trade receivables or control account is part of your general ledger. Okay, general ledger. They work in total. Now, they're saying that here, this figure is 26,800. Okay, now you also have something called a sales ledger. Sales ledger is something called a subsidiary ledger, sales ledger or purchases ledger. In this case, a sales ledger is it's kept in a separate part. Sales ledger is it's not part of a general ledger. Okay, basically you have general ledger and then you have subsidiary ledger. Subsidiary ledger are two kinds, sales ledger and the purchases ledger. Sales ledger controls individual. Please take a look. Remember, individual accounts of trade receivables. So let's say if you have 100 customers whom you give credit, you will expect to have 100 individual accounts kept in the sales ledger, whether it's manual or whether it's using computer software. So now here, in this sales ledger, you have a lot of, let's say you're 100, just for a picture, just to teach you people simple ways to look at the idea. Let's say you have all these individual trade receivable A, B, C, D, and all that. So basically in the sales ledger, when you add up the summary of a sales ledger, the total of all this came up to 30,000. Now by right, if you have kept your individual sales ledger, if you have kept your individual trade receivables account correctly, let's say there are 100 customers here, Then the total, when you add up the total of their debit balances, their balances at the end of, say, end of the year, let's say 31st of December, the total figure 30,000 should by right, okay, for all intents and purposes, should be the same as the trade receivables control account. It should also be 30,000. But unfortunately, there is a difference. Your control account for trade receivables shows 26,800, but your sales ledger, which consists of summary of all your individual trade receivables account, only shows 30,000, which is too much, right? Now, they discovered that there's the following, the errors. There are 3 errors here. Number 1, a dishonored check of 1,000 has been omitted from sales ledger control account. So basically, this bounce check or dishonored check, let's say from an individual person, it has been recorded here. Let's say trade receivable PQR. Let's call it trade receivable PQR. So this person, you actually did debit back 1,000, but you didn't debit that amount back to the trade receivables control. So now you have to put it in here, bank bracket dishonored check 1,000. Okay, it is here, but it is not there in the control account. Okay, cool. Next, a sales ledger credit balance of 500 has been debited as a debit balance. Here you have to be careful. A sales ledger of 500 has been listed as a debit balance. So let's say there's a person who has a $100 balance here, another trade receivable, let's say Y, let's call it, there's 100 here. So now this debit is wrong. Wait, it says it should be credit. So what do? You have to, from this 30,000, this 30,000 is the summary figure, all right? This figure is too much. This 500 is part of the 30,000. Come down, huh? So you have to reduce this 30,000 by 500 and add the 500 here, okay? This is your sales ledger. This is actually a sales ledger figure of 30,000, okay? Let's say summary of your sales ledger. This is not there. I'm just trying to make the picture in your mind to help you to envision it. Okay, basically the 30,000 on the left hand side is too much by 500. I'm going to cut it down by 500 and I have to put another 500 on the right hand side. Cool? Think of it slowly. You can play this video again. Then the next thing we have to do, this is an error. So basically I'll call it an error here. And the error, I'm correcting it here. Okay, this is just the summary of sales ledger is my doing. I'm the one who tries to put a picture in your mind to let you see where we are heading. The next one says, the sales journal has been undercast by 1,200. Okay, if your sales journal has been undercast by 1,200, remember the sales journal, that means, okay, you have to listen to me carefully. In your sales journal, when you have your sales journal, there will be a few people's balances. Okay, this total here, then here will be the totals. Let's say it will be trade receivable A, trade receivable B, trade receivable C. This figure here is understated. Let's say it should be, for example, let's say it is 10K. This 10K is understated. By right, it should be 11,200. Okay, that's the meaning of understated. Now be careful, this figure will go to your sales at 10K, but respectively to the trade receivables, the trade receivable A, trade receivable B, and trade receivable C, there are 3 debits here. These 3 debits here will come up to the 11,200. Okay, so hence the sales is understated. This sales account is understated. Okay, so when you are going to restore it, you will credit here, like the sales, this, and debit your trade receivable. So the entry you're going to do is to restore your sales by 1,200 and debit 1,200 here, and call this sales. Okay, cool. So if you've done it correctly, 26,800 plus 1,000 plus 1,200 will give you 29,000. Therefore, the balance you carry down should be 29K. Carry down to the next month, whatever first of the next month is 29K. Now they ask you what amount of trade receivables to be included in the SOFP, in the statement of financial position, or sometimes called the balance sheet. It will be 29,000. There, because of this figure, 29,000. Okay, and this is your answer. Okay, you can also see here, you can see here that when I have 30,000 less than 500, I have 29,500. Can you see? But there's an error here. I'm going to credit here. I will also see that my sales ledger, this summary here, will also show you a 29K balance. Can you see? This figure will also be brought down. So finally, what do I conclude? My sales ledger, the summary will also show 29,000, as well as my trade receivables control account. Hence, the answer is B, 29,000. Okay, I know this took a bit of time to explain because it's quite for just one objective question, a lot of thinking is involved. Hence, I chose to do this for you. I hope this helps you. You can play this video again. You want to see the rest of the videos on account, my IGCSE Accounting, you have to go to our Facebook fan page or go to our website or go to follow us on YouTube. Okay, do give us a like. Go and check us out, all our maths, accounting, and physics content for IGCSE, A levels, IB exam. Okay, both for Edexcel, I think, and for Cambridge Board. I'll see you soon. All right, take care, be good, stay safe.